I wanted to talk a little bit today for a lesson about mental control. So, in the past few lessons, we've talked a lot about controlling your physical body. So, whether that's your hands, your seat, your legs, that's kind of been the focus of our videos. And today, I wanted to just talk briefly about the idea of controlling your mind while you're working with your horse. So, something that I see quite frequently is people getting frustrated, upset, or fearful when they don't get the response that they want from their horse. And that's something that we work on a lot here, is trying to break the horse's issues down to the simplest part. So where is the threshold in which the horse stops being successful and starts having an issue? And so we get to the spot where the horse is having the problem, and we try to go backwards in its training to see why it's arrived at the spot that it has. In order to do that, you have to separate yourself from the emotional aspect of horses. Part of the reason why horses are such great therapeutic animals is they're extremely emotionally responsive. They feed off of people's emotions, and depending on how you react to them, they become different animals. So I think I said in another video that it's extremely important that you're a part of your horse's training process. And part of that reasoning is that your horse is going to respond a lot differently to me than it may to you. So my ability to accomplish a certain goal with your horse, whether it's just walk, trot, cantering on your horse, or doing some flying changes, or doing some leg yield, taking it on a trail ride, whatever the goal is to accomplish, your horse may react differently to me than it does to you. So being able to mentally control your emotions is extremely important to reaching and being successful in your goals. Having a mental plan and mental focus in terms of, I want my horse to do X, Y, Z. This is my plan. These are some emotions or some ways in which I feel about putting myself in that situation. And when I feel like that, having some strategies to calm yourself down, make yourself feel less fearful, make yourself feel less angry. Whatever the triggers that you have with your horse may be, breaking them down into the simplest part and where you feel successful with your horse, building confidence up from that point, and then moving forward from there. So, for example, if I had somebody come into the barn where they felt really comfortable riding their horse in the indoor arena, but once they got out on the trail, they have had experiences with their horses spooking, and that's caused them to be fearful of riding their horse outside of the indoor arena. And that may or may not be the horse's issue. That may be that that person lacks confidence outside of the indoor arena, and then when they go on the trails, they end up having problems because their horse is looking for a leader, and the person that's riding them is filled with fear. So being able to break it down into more simple parts, and say, okay, I don't feel comfortable riding my horse out on the trail, but I do feel comfortable leading my horse out on the trail. Or I do feel comfortable leading my horse around the yard. And once you feel extremely confident leading your horse around the yard, expanding your circle of comfort, and saying, okay, now I feel extremely comfortable leading my horse around the yard. I feel like I have control over that situation. I'm going to lead my horse down the trail. And once you feel extremely confident leading your horse down the trail, okay, now I'm going to ride my horse around the yard, and etc., etc. Expand your circle of comfort until you feel confident in a larger goal. And that's something that we work on with horses that I have come into the barn that have had problems or issues in the past. A lot of the time, those problems or issues are created by people who rush the horse through a particular phase in its life, and so it becomes successful up to a point, and then beyond that point, it doesn't feel confident anymore, and that's where you see those issues happening. So what I do in terms of training is break it down for the horse to the most simple part in where it's confident, and then regrow its confidence in other areas until its circle is expanded and expanded until there isn't something that the horse feels uncomfortable doing. And I recommend the same thing for people. So this week we're talking about mental control, thinking about compartmentalizing your fear, anger, other things that you may have going on in your life, putting them into a box in the time in which you're working with your horse, and really being conscious of, is it you or your horse that's having the issue? If you have specific questions or you're having certain problems with your horse in this area, feel free to send a message, or you can write a video response and send it in that way, and we will talk about them later. Thank you.